Question is, let x1 comma x2 follows bivariate normal distribution with expectation of x1 which is equal to expectation of x2 which is 0 and variance of x1 equal to variance of x2 which is 1 and correlation between x1 comma x2 is rho. What is the value of expectation of x1 square into x2 square? We need to find value of expectation of x1 square into x2 square. To solve this question, we need two results. These two results, first result is if x comma y follows bivariate normal distribution and correlation between x comma y is 0, then x comma y are independent. And second result is if x comma y are independent random variables, then expectation of x into y which is equal to expectation of x into expectation of y. So here correlation between x comma y which is rho. So suppose let rho is equal to 0 because here correlation between x1 comma x2 is rho. So we know that minus 1 less than equal to rho is less than equal to 1. So rho take any value in minus 1 and plus 1. So we assume that rho equal to 1. This rho equal to 1 which is implies that correlation between x1 comma x2 which is equal to rho and x1 comma x2 follows bivariate normal distribution here given with parameter is first mu1 is 0, second mu2 is 0 and variance of x1 is 1 and variance of x2 is 1 and correlation we assume which is 0. This implies that by first result implies that x1 comma x2 are independent. Because see in first result if x comma y follows bivariate normal distribution and correlation between x comma y 0, then x and y are independent. Here x1 x2 follows bivariate normal, so and correlation 0 because we assume that rho equal to 0. This implies that x1 comma x2 are independent. Therefore we ask the expectation of x1 square into expectation of x2 square, so which is equal to here x1 comma x2 are independent. This implies that x1 square comma x2 square are also independent because x1 and x2 are independent. Therefore we ask the expectation of x1 square into x2 square. Here x1 square and x2 square are independent. This implies that which is equal to expectation of x1 square into expectation of x2 square. This is because second result implies this if x and y are independent, then expectation of x into y equal to expectation of x into y. Here x1 square and x2 square are independent and x1 square and x2 square are two random variables. Because x1 and x2 are random variable, therefore expectation of x1 square into x2 square which is equal to expectation of x1 square into expectation of x2 square. So we know that if here x comma y follows bivariate normal and expectation of x1 which is equal to 0, expectation of x2 which is equal to 0, variance of x1 which is equal to 1 and variance of x2 which is equal to 1, we need to find this expectation. We need expectation of x1 square and expectation of x2 square. Variance of x1, we know that variance definition, variance of x1 equal to expectation of x1 square minus expectation of x1 whole bracket square. So we know variance of x1 is 1 which is equal to expectation of x1 square minus expectation of x1 which is 0. This value are given in the question, so expectation of x1 square which is equal to 1. Similarly expectation of x2 square which is equal to 1, so we put here expectation of x1 square and expectation of x2 square in this, which is implies that expectation of x1 square into x2 square which is equal to 1 into 1 which is equal to 1. So this is the expectation of x1 square, expectation of x1 square into x2 square which is 1. But when if rho equal to 0, because in starting we assume that rho is 0, so in answer put rho equal to 0, then expectation of x1 square into x2 square which is equal to 1. Out of this choice, which choice gives answer 1, then this answer is true. Here put rho equal to 0, therefore which is 1 by 2, which is not 1, so first answer is wrong. Here put rho is equal to 0, so therefore this answer is 2 by 3 which is not 1, so this answer is also wrong. Here put rho equal to 0, that gives answer is 4, so which is not equal to 1, so this is wrong. Here put rho equal to 0 which is answer 1, so expectation of x1 square x2 square which is 1, so the answer is true.